Hi and welcome back to the Oorah Live laptop giveaway. That's right, every hour on the hour we're giving away a free laptop, a free iPad. All you have to do is go online, oorah.org. It's a free entry. We're in the newly renovated Deli 52 in the heart of Brooklyn. I'd like to thank Yossi for sponsoring us tonight, and Chef Victor, who's been doing a phenomenal job with the food. Oorah.org, the auction is this month of Shabbos. Every entry, you have an option to be entered into another raffle to win up to $1 million. Joining us now at the top of the 7 o'clock hour is the Rav of Congregation B'nai Yitzchok of Dovid Goldwasser. It's 8 o'clock? It's really 8 o'clock? Amazing. Rabbi Dovid Goldwasser is also a world-renowned author and lecturer. And of course, he has daily segments on the Nachum Segal Show, on JM in the AM, the Nachum Segal Network. Rabbi Goldwasser, thank you very much for joining us.
Pleasure to be here, especially under such auspices like Oorah. Phenomenal, phenomenal work across the world. I cannot tell you that if Oorah doesn't bring Mashiach Tzidkenu, nobody will.
Rabbi Goldwasser, your most recent book was called Addicted Souls, right?
Yes.
I don't know if you saw, but one of the things that they're giving away in the Oorah auction this year is 5-ish linen.
Linen.
Do you think that's because there's an addiction to 5-ish that kids want to have that much to do with it?
I think that 5-ish is addicting for all kids, but adults as well, because when that thing comes on the video, I see parents just looking at it. It's amazing.
Is it a healthy addiction?
5-ish is very healthy. There are some addictions that, you can get a little bit and it's okay, but if you get too much, it's no good. With 5-ish, you can't get enough.
Let's get more to the serious part. How does one know when one is addicted?
A person that shows signs of withdrawal from society, they cannot go about their regular schedule. They are drawn and attracted so much that it distracts them from their daily habits, the daily things that they need to do in their routine. It also means that they will pass up relationships, talking to people, interacting, going to business, going to davening. That means that a person's addicted because they cannot separate from whatever their addictive behavior is.
I would think maybe that meant they were depressed because they don't want to deal with society.
Unfortunately, that is the thinking in many places in the world, but it's not true. Because there are things that have addictive qualities within them, even if a person is very happy, even if an individual is getting along in society very nicely and they're a good yid. But they may fall into addictive behaviors because of the addictive qualities. Things that you can understand, caffeine, chocolate, these also have addictive qualities.
Or use of computers.
Or use of computers, internet usage, texting, emailing, blogging, all these things are addictive. And unfortunately, it sets off a certain response inside of us. We get excited about it, and then we find a comfort in doing it more and more. It's like you take a little child, and the child has chocolate. So the child wants 10 chocolate bars and 20, and give him the whole store. So too, you take an adult, you give him a little internet usage, he gets excited, she gets excited, she finds a comfort level in the usage, and he says, I can't get enough of this because it's my escape from society.
There's an old joke that somebody had a son that always wanted to try smoking. So what he did was he gave him like 2 packs and he said, you have to smoke all these in front of me now. And that cured him.
That was cured, yeah.
Is there such a thing like that with addiction? Overload the system, so to speak?
Unfortunately, today's times, we are overloading ourselves anyhow because it's a society of excesses. So I can have as much as I want. I can have a smorgasbord and then I can go for the full dinner. After I can have the Viennese table, and then on my way out I can get donuts and cupcakes just for the road, say to Laderach. So we are used to excesses, and the more excesses we have, Tova Labracha. Wow, this is wonderful. It's a blessing.
We were testing some of Chef Victor's menu here earlier. I had some sesame chicken, a burger, steak, 2 sandwiches, and fried chicken. Would you say I have an eating disorder?
No, I would say that you enjoy your food and you eat l'shem shamayim.
I only made 1 bracha, though. They're all kind of the same parsha.
Good.
But seriously talking, eating disorders are a very serious thing in today's day and age.
In today's day and age, it is the #1 Out of the disorders, it's one of the most serious disorders in terms of mental health. It also has, unfortunately, the highest rate of mortality, more than any of the other disorders. We take a look at it, okay, it's in vogue, a person has an eating disorder, anorexic, bulimic. We can understand that's the way young people are today, and it's fashionable. Unfortunately, they do not read the other side. They don't know how many people are falling victim, how many people have their internal organs shutting down, the heart, the liver. Every single thing begins to deteriorate. The eyes, the ears, the teeth, hair, all types of things on the body begin to shut down. That we don't read about it. It's not glamorized in the media and so forth. The Torah Kedosha says, "V'achalta v'savata," be satisfied. But the question of savata is a question that is debated hotly amongst the Rishonim and Achronim, what it means. Certainly the Rambam posits in the Hilchos, in the beginning, in Hilchos Deis, that an individual should be careful to leave over on the plate, to take only that which they need to help.
My father always used to say, don't eat with your eyes. Savata means you should be satisfied, but don't think that I have to eat more because I happen to love that food. I think it's very important that people always think eating disorders means you eat too much. Somebody who's obese, but it goes the other way too, and that is a big problem today.
I have people that were originally obese and then became anorexic. I became people that were anorexic originally and then became obese. They have binge eating disorder. They can eat an entire layer cake. They could eat an entire box of cookies with 48 cookies without even blinking.
Amazing. Somebody who is, let's say, obese or they're anorexic, I mean, there are people like that, I think, that can still do a regular exercise regimen, so they still think they're being healthy. It's not something that has to do with being lazy, correct?
No, not at all. The people are not lazy. The people are among the highest achievers, the highest IQ, come from the better homes. If you'll take a case study of people that have eating disorders, you'll find some very surprising statistics. What it is a compulsion to either eat or to starve ourselves. It's a lack of self-esteem. It could be very well positioned by certain things that happen in life. For instance, an example of it is that there are people that Khalila were abused. There are people that never had the chance of freedom of expression, that were stifled. And it came out in the way of an eating disorder because that's what they wanted. They needed a mode of expression. If they were so controlled that they could not do anything, I have to go to that school, I have to wear this uniform, I have to conform to this is the shidduch I need to make.
When they finally get married,
I have nothing,
they're their own person.
Nothing that I can do. But one thing that they can do is they can control their food. And they can show you so well that they can control their food that you are going to marvel over it, and you're going to tell them all day long, why don't you eat? What are you doing? You're killing yourself. You're starving yourself. What's the matter? The Torah says, and you're going to say all kinds of things. You can stand on your head. You can do whatever you want, but you will not get them to eat unless they want to.
So how does one go about if they realize they have a problem, or a loved one or family members realize that there's an issue? How do they go about correcting it?
Number one, they have to read up information. I have 2 books. I don't like to mention the name of my own books, but I would say Starving to Live or Starving Souls will tell an individual how do I treat somebody who may be experiencing an eating disorder, what to say, what not to say. These are vital, pivotal points in how to relate to an individual that may have an eating disorder.
The wrong thing, not only they might not ignore, but it might cause them to go further.
It could cause it deepen the whole behavior. The second is bring them in, get them in immediately, take them to somebody who's a professional, take them to someone who will be able to analyze it and say what it will be the best mode of therapy, where to get these people help. Last week, I had an 8-year-old boy that came to me from a very frum home. 8-year-old. He exhibited the classic forms of an eating disorder, of anorexia. He's never seen a advertisement. He's never read a secular book. He's never been exposed to the radio. He hasn't been exposed anywhere. Yet, he exhibits the classical case of behaviors.
Is it because he's a picky eater? Or?
No. Because he has it inside of him. It is something that an individual, it is so deep and so difficult to figure out. I addressed the nephew Nefesh. Nefesh is a society of mental health in London, England. And there was a psychiatrist that came to me who was considered the senior psychiatrist in one of the top hospitals in London. He is 78 years old. When the meeting was finished and I presented my paper, he said to me, Rabbi Goldwasser, tell me, I have no idea how to treat an eating disorder. Could you tell me, what is this mystifying disease all about? This is from one of the top people in mental health, a very honest man. It is mystifying. It's enigmatic.
And it's totally mental.
Yes.
You act on it physical, but
right.
It's a mental problem.
There's no question about it. It's not just because the person wants to look good. It's not because they have certain issues. It is something that's going on deep inside. They are troubled. They are challenged. They're going through a severe lack of self-esteem. They need something that will be able to help them to take them out of the prison that they find themselves captured in.
Speaking of self-esteem, it's also one of your big topics, children's self-esteem. Let me ask you a question. I know somebody who has a daughter in Beis Yaakov. Daughter is a great student. She talks to friends. She's extremely quiet and middle class. I want to answer a teacher's question. She says she doesn't want to do it. Is that a self-esteem issue, or is that just a quiet child?
She could be quiet. She could be quiet b'teva. Just her nature is to be quiet. And as we say, if a person has a nature, the Vilna Gaon always said, "Chanoch l'no al pi darkoi." Don't tell the child, no, you got to speak up. You got to be loud. You got to be boisterous. That's the child's nature. Let him be. Let her be.
But if
let
the
them grow.
Can be loud by recess or whatnot, let's say.
So let them be a little bit loud. That's their teva. That's their nature.
If the child can be loud by recess, but they're quiet in class.
Oh, and they're quiet in class.
Yeah. So know they have that nature.
It could be. Sometimes you need to know how to open up the child. Mezritcher Magid said a very interesting thing. The gematria of Or, light, and the gematria of Roz, secret, is exactly the same. If you know the secret, you know how to open up and bring the light out of the young people. I think that's what we need to know how to do today. A lot of people are suffering from self-esteem issues because they're not brought out in the proper way. They haven't been encouraged. They haven't been inspired. It takes a teacher and a Rebbe, and they're all wonderful in fields of chinuch. You have to know each and every child, how to develop that child. What's the tchunas hanefesh of that child? You got to study the child. You got to become their friend. The Chavetz Chaim said, "Halavai, my own children will call me their friend." If the Chavetz Chaim said that, so we can also say it. The children need to be developed. There's a lot of things that make the kids lose their self-esteem today, and it's such a crime.
I know, for example, I'm sure some girls might look for a future in singing and dancing, and we don't really have an outlet for that in the Jewish felt. So, what do you say to a parent of a child that wants to go in a direction where there really isn't a medium for them to continue as they grow up?
Well, I tell you the truth, it's like Reb Chaim Brisker. Reb Chaim was a young little boy, and he was on the rocking horsey going back and forth. The dayan in town, the judge, was a little bit jealous of him. So he says, Reb Chaim, this is what you do. Reb Chaim Brisker says, if it doesn't come out now, it's going to come out later. So I think the same is to be with the young people. Let them have a mode of expression. If she's good in art, let her go to an art class. Let her go under firm auspices. If she can sing, take them to one of the choirs. Take them to one of the women's programs. Let her be under careful hashgacha, under supervision, but let her express herself. If she's a brilliant pianist or a violinist or guitarist, let her have her mode of expression. If it's going to be squelched, it's going to come out in different ways. You cannot hold people down in our day and age. Pesach Pasuach, the door is open. You go anywhere you want. You can do anything you want. Once that internet came on, I don't care how many filters you have. I don't care what hashgacha you have. I don't care what it is. I don't care if you're hooked up with 25 web covers, web chaverim. It does not matter. The door is open. We have to make sure that we in Klal Yisrael have the right expression, that we're able to take the inner talents that Hashem blessed us with and to use them. They were meant to be used. You can't stifle it. David HaMelech, look at the music that he made. Look at the words that he made. Shlomo HaMelech, it had to come out. There was no way to keep it in. Devar HaNaviyah, it came out. We didn't say, stifle yourself. No, you're a woman, you can't do it. We let them come out, and the Gedolei Yisrael always said, if you have a child, make sure that you understand the tchunas hanefesh of the child, what makes that child tick, and let them go in their own way. The Heilige Vorker had a child, and he was very unruly. Remember Vorker, very unruly. So he went to see one of the great tzaddikim, and he said to him, the tzaddik said, what would you like to do? So the young child said, I'd love to go horseback riding and ride a horse in there. So the tzaddik said, it means Maisa Merkava. They understood how to bring the child up. They understood that the child needed a certain amount of, and he grew into the great tzaddik, Rabbi Levorker. And there were many, many Gedolei Yisrael, many great women that when they had their start, they were a little bit unruly. They had certain koiches. They needed to be able to explore and to understand within a Torah context what was going on inside. If we say, no, it's not for you, it's not our way, it's not... It's maybe okay for today and tomorrow. You have a moment. I got to tell you, Rabbi Chonim says an unbelievable thing. My Heilige Rebbe, Rabbi Simcha Wasserman, so his father, Hagoyin Rabbi Chonim, Zechet Tzadik Levrach Hashem Yinkom Damoi. Rabbi Chonim said, you take a look, Echad Rasha, Echad Chacham, Echad Tzadik, Echad Sheni Yadei Elishol. So he says, why do we have all the different kind? He says, each need to be addressed. In a certain place, in a certain city, they had only one suit size. When you go in, there was only one size that everybody bought. So there were certain people that they came in and they were too big. So when they would put the suit on, they have to force it, right? And then they'd go out all of a sudden one day, they'd go like that, it would rip. Then when they go like this, it would rip. They'd bend over, it would rip. Then you had other people that would walk in and they were too small for it and they would swim in the suit. You had a few people that were able to march in and the suit fit just perfect. Rabbi Chonim said, if you're going to force the children, the young people, to go in this particular way, in that particular way, and you'll make them wear the suit, yes, you can get them to make them wear the suit. But one day, it's going to explode in your face. One day, there's going to be youth at risk. One day, it's going to come back to HAUNTU.
So, Rabbi Goldwasser, if people want to buy your books, what's the best way to do that? Is it through a distributor or is the
best way is through
as a website? I don't know.
I have, unfortunately, I'm going to say no, Robin, I do have, and the reason I do have is only because to offset the other things that are available on, I was asked. But it's available through Israel Bookshop, through Kitav, and also some of the books are available through Judaica Press here. So any one of them, if anybody has a difficulty, they can call direct. My administrative assistant will help them whatever they need. If they need an appointment, or if they want one of the books, or one of the things that we give out, free reports, they should please call the number, and we'll be more than happy to help them in any way possible.
I want to thank you very much. I just have one last question.
Please.
How did you get started on the disorder kind of way? I mean, was there somebody that you knew or somebody close to you that got you more interested in that topic? Or is that something you were always interested in?
I'll tell you, for Oorah, I'm going to reveal it.
Okay.
Just for today. Interesting thing happened. They sent me a young person in many years ago. And the person was so difficult to figure out. The parents gave up, the school gave up, they couldn't figure it out. So at the last resort, they sent the young person in to me. I met with the person for an hour and a half. At the end of the hour and a half, I said, it seems to me this person has an eating disorder. That's the problem. Nobody picked up on it. I called back the parents and I said, listen, I'm sure that the person has an eating disorder. I don't have experience in it, but that's what I think. They said, Rabbi Goldwasser, you do wonderful. We appreciate the Devar Torah. We love the morning chizuk. We like your articles, but you're not correct. I said, I'm telling you. I said, would you mind if I call a doctor? They said, be my guest. You can call whoever you want. I found a doctor in eating disorders who was the top person. I called him up. I explained to him what happened. He said, there's no question. You did the right assessment. I asked him, could you give me an appointment? He says, yeah, sure. I'll make an appointment for you. I heard of you. I'll make an appointment at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I called back the parents. I said, I have an appointment 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Are you kidding me? 3 o'clock in the afternoon, we're going to allow a person in our family become stigmatized? So we're going to allow them to go to an eating? No way. So I said, so why? How would you let it? if you can make the appointment at 5:30 in the morning, then we'll let you. That no one will see. I called back the doctor. I said, doctor, I don't know, it's chutzpah for me to ask you, would you make an appointment at 5:30 in the morning? He said, if you're asking me, I'll do it on one condition, that you come together with the patient. I came in the next morning, and two things happened. 5:30 in the morning, two things happened. The patient got help, and the doctor and I became lifelong friends. From that point, many people throughout the world started to get in contact with me about eating disorders.
You started learning more and more.
I started learning more. I got my shimush. I went to school. I got, unfortunately, it was decreed that I should write a book. I write my first book on eating disorders, Starving to Live. Then people wanted even more. I wrote the second book, Starving Souls. I went on tour on eating disorders and halach and hashkafa. I went on tour for eating disorders and understanding. There were crowds that came from all different segments of the community and outside of the community because they were looking so much for an answer to this enigmatic problem. If you have an answer that comes from the Torah Kedosha, if you have an answer that has a spiritual end to it, they are ready and willing. People even that have not been touched yet by Oorah, people that have absolutely no connection with Yiddishkeit, they say, please tell us what the Torah has to say about it. What does Judaism have to say? And there is so much beautiful therapy available. Hafachba v'afachba, it's all in the Torah Kedosha. So, Baruch Hashem, I've been successful. We reached our 1,000th person who's entered into recovery, which for me is the biggest simcha in the entire world. I didn't mention it yet, but L'Kovod, the great simcha of Oorah, touching hundreds of thousands of neshamas around the world, it just came out.
Rabbi Goldwasser, thank you very much.
Thank you.
I appreciate it, and I'm going to be up in the morning to listen to your morning chizuk.
Good, thank you. It's a simcha for me to have a yidid like you who will listen.
Simcha for me to be able to learn every day so easily by turning on the radio. We have our 10th winner.
Wow.
Moshe Meir Weiss opened the winner, so I'm hoping you'll do us the pleasure of announcing the winner over here for us.
With my pleasure. Whoa.
You know what this is?
They're unreal. Rabbi and Mrs. Pesach Eli and Brocha Daum of Lakewood, New Jersey. Choice.
The choice of an iPad or a laptop.
Choice of an iPad or a laptop. Downloaded with all the Oorah videos and DVDs and everything.
Audio, but thank you very
much. And
audio. Rabbi Dovid Goldwasser.
Thank you.
I'd like to thank you for making this special time for coming down today. Please keep it tuned to Oorah.org for more and to keep entering the raffles and for the laptops and the iPads and of course for the auction and your chance to win $1 million. Next, on top of next hour will be Rabbi David Greenfield, Councilman David Greenfield, too many rabbis. And after him, Yossi Green will finish off our last hour. Check out this video from Oorah and keep it tuned to Oorah.org for more.